Brenda Sue Brown was born on May 15, 1955 in Sanford and later moved to Shelby, North Carolina. On July 27, 1966, the day started off as any other. Brenda, who was 11 at the time, and her sisters had some sort of argument over a compact makeup, as sisters typically do. Brenda was then asked to walk her sister Patricia, who was 6 at the time, to a Head Start class, which was a matter of just 2 blocks away. This was the last time anyone saw Brenda Sue. Her mother, Gladys, initially thought she might have stopped to talk to someone, but as time went on, worry started to set in. By 10:15, she went out to look for her, asking anyone she came across if they had seen her daughter. Gladys decided to get the relevant authorities involved, and an hour later a search team from Shelby Rescue began a search. In the evening, around 6:45, rescue workers found Brenda Sue. Sadly, she had been found dead. Her body was under debris of branches, bushes and sticks. Her clothes neatly folded with a rock covered in blood next to her nude body. Autopsy results showed that she had 12 skull fractures resulting from blunt force trauma, which was from the bloody rock, and although she'd been naked when she was found, she had not been raped. Police had a couple of suspects in mind. A mentally handicapped boy of 13 who had been seen in the area that morning called Robert Roseborough, also a bald man who had exposed himself to Brenda and her sister just days earlier. Unfortunately, he could not be identified. Police took 13-year-old Robert Roseborough in for questioning, but gained nothing from it. Robert remained silent all the way through, so no questions were answered. Therefore, they had to let him go. Now, where Brenda lived in Shelby, people became a lot more aware of their surroundings, locking doors and walking kids to school and watching over them in general. In 1969, with no more to go on, police decided to go and see Robert Roseborough again, though this time he was in prison. Roseborough had been convicted for the murder of Mary Helen Williams a year earlier. Mary Helen Williams worked in Mary Cannon's towel outlet on Dixon's Boulevard on June 22, 1968. At 11:30 a.m, a girl walking with her mother looked into the window of the building and saw Mary Williams laying naked on the floor covered in blood. Police were called, and out came Robert Roseborough with his hands up in the air. The county coroner stated that she had been hit in the head, beaten and stabbed in the stomach with a pair of scissors, and in the restroom, Mary's clothes had been found. Although Mary was nude, autopsy results showed she had also not been raped. In the trial, Robert Roseborough had denied killing Mary. He said that the police had lied and that he had no motive to kill Mary, as there had been no rape or robbery involved. However, when blood found on his clothes matched Mary's blood type, he was found guilty and sentenced to death. Later it got reduced to life in prison. Because of the similarities to Brenda Sue's death, police visited him in prison, but he would still not speak of Brenda Sue's death. 40 years had passed and Brenda's family had no justice, always agonising over who could have possibly killed Brenda Sue, until one day in 2006 a woman named Lori Lale contacted police with something significant to tell them. She said that in 2002 a deathbed confession had been made by her grandfather, Earl Mickey Parker, who passed away in June of that year. He told his granddaughter that he had done some bad things in his time and wanted to get things off his chest so he could go to heaven. Basically, he and another man named Thurman Price had killed Brenda Sue, and it started off with the two men drinking together the night before. They drank for several hours, and when they were walking home the next morning, they saw Brenda Sue near Lafayette Street. They both creeped up behind her, intended to rape the little girl. Lori Lale's grandfather said Thurman Price grabbed Brenda, dragging her away from the street. There was a little boy playing in the field, which was possibly 13-year-old Robert Roseborough. Thurman Price shouted to the boy to go home. Poor Brenda fought hard and managed to scratch Thurman Price, but this made him more angry, and this is when he picked up a rock and hit her several times. He told Earl Parker that he had to do this, as they would go away and do real time this time. What was meant by this was in 1955 these two men had already committed a rape of a child, a 12-year-old of Patterson Springs, North Carolina. Both pleaded guilty and was given a 3 to 5 year suspended prison sentence, not to drink alcohol, keep a job, and pay court costs of $240. Police arrested Thurman Price, aged 79, in 2007, on a first-degree murder charge of Brenda Sue Brown. Although he denied any involvement, Whilst awaiting trial, a Cleveland County judge ruled that the Earl Parker's deathbed confession, as well as Lael's testimony, would be used as evidence at the trial. While still awaiting trial, Thurman Price, who still maintained his innocence, died on August the 4th, 2012. Thank you for watching. Please comment down below what you think and like and subscribe. I will also be posting content on a weekly basis, so hit that notification button. If there's anything you want me to research and put on my channel, please email me. My email's in the description below.